The next game we're talking about is number 8 USC at Colorado, noon Eastern time on Fox. Dalton, how do you think Colorado will respond after getting blown out of the water by Oregon?
I think it'll be better. I do. Oregon is not. It's like the worst matchup possible for Colorado. That you just talk about their offensive line, the running game, Irving and James, and everything they can do in the run game. That's just not gonna be what Colorado wants to play stylistically, right? USC is kind of like Colorado on steroids.
Yeah.
It's about the quarterback and the weapons, and they can run the ball. Don't get me wrong, they could run the ball too, but it's at the end of the day, it's about Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And just like for Colorado, at the end of the day, it's about Shedeur, right? And the weapons and high flying and making reads and making huge throws. And it's going to be fun to watch these two quarterbacks on the same field. But Colorado, they do have to find some balance, though. They have the fewest rushing yards per game in the Power 5. Their lack of balance, they're only running, I believe it's 56 yards a game, somewhere around there. They need to find balance so bad because, you saw Arizona State even really unexpectedly as a 34-35 point underdog stayed in the game against USC really down to the wire because they could run the ball. Skedebo ran the ball really physically against them. You have to find some way. I mean, it's hard enough to beat USC. It's going to take a minimum of 45 points, I think. They're going to score against anybody. They're probably the best offense in the country. You have to have balance. You just do. It's going to be hard for Colorado, even against the lesser teams in the Pac-12, to win without some sort of balance. They have to get Hankerson and Dylan Edwards going. I know they don't want to run Shedeur a whole lot because he's not built necessarily for the design game, but it's just, I think they're going to respond. They're at home. It's a better team for them to play stylistically. It's a tough task for sure, especially again without Travis Hunter this week. But I think it's going to look better than you saw. I just think Oregon, especially at Oregon, is the worst matchup you could find for Colorado with the way they struggle in the trenches.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, my biggest matchup for me is just basically, can Colorado keep up, man? Because Oregon right now is second in the country in terms of EPA per play. The only one above them is USC. And Oregon in that game against Colorado scored a touchdown on 6 of its first 7 drives of that game. So that game was over quickly. USC is even better offense than Oregon. I agree with you. I think it might be the best offense in the country right now. And it's not just Caleb Williams and that electric receiving core, which has been fantastic to start the season. Marshawn Lloyd is currently the second highest graded running back in the country. And you saw what Bucky Irving was able to do last week against that Colorado defense. This could be the Marshawn Lloyd game, man. I really think this kid can have a huge game against Colorado. The only chance Colorado has, like you said, is probably score 45 plus points, man, because this is, and listen, they have I'm not gonna say they are gonna score that many, but they have a better chance of making this a shootout than the Oregon game. Oregon is very well coached defensively. Dan Lanning is a brilliant defensive mind. They got good players on that side of the ball. USC currently 50th in the country in EPA per play on defense, and they face 2 offenses that are outside the top 100 in EPA per play, and another one who's outside the top 70 in EPA per play. So USC's defense has played a weak schedule, and it's still not looked great so far. So I think Shedeur Sanders could have a big game in this one. The problem is, though, you see right there, he had 8 sacks. He was sacked 8 times by Oregon. USC, again, weak competition, but right now they're third in the country with an 84.9 pass rushing grade. Now, the run defense, I think, is the issue with the USC defense mostly right now. So maybe Shedeur won't have as much success. But I agree with you. I think Dylan Edwards, man, he's got to have a big game as well. I think Marshawn Lloyd could have a big game, and Dylan Edwards might have to have a big game in this one. So, yes, it is between Caleb Williams. Yes, it is between Shedeur Sanders. That's going to be the headline for this game. But this could turn into a running game a lot more than people realize with Marshawn Lloyd and Dylan Edwards. So, Colorado's going to have to keep up, man, to make this a game, because if you thought that Oregon offense looked elite against Colorado, wait until you see Caleb Williams, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, the guy who's going to go number 1 overall no matter who has the pick, basically. Wait until you see that offense with Lincoln Riley, the best offensive mind in the country, by the way. Colorado better buckle up, because it could be another long day for the defense. But I do think Colorado's offense has a better chance of making it closer than the Oregon game, at least. But ultimately, Dalton, how close will Colorado make this game?
Not that close. Not as wide as the Oregon game. I'm gonna say 49-31 USC.
Okay.
There should be opportunities for them in this game. I think USC, they're not like that physical on defense. Yeah. Colorado's just again, their primary issue in this game is one team. USC has some semblance of balance. Now, does it come against a ton of light boxes because you have to sit back against them? Yeah, and sometimes they throw it over your heads anyway. Yeah. But Colorado has to find something up front. They have to find anything to get Edwards. They just need. They don't even need to run for 250, 300 in this game, but it's got to be respectable. They can't win games continuing to run for 55 yards a game. But this is a good opportunity for him. I think the pass rush, Sanders does get the ball out quickly. A lot of those sacks last week were him just kind of holding the ball too long. Their offensive line graded better than I thought they would at the end of the day. And Sanders, he would much rather take a sack than throw the ball into a dangerous spot. I can't blame him for that. But USC, it's just too much. I think it'll be a better showing for Colorado at home against a team that's stylistically a little more favorable to them. But USC, I don't know about you. I believe they're one of the 4 best teams in the country. You have an offense like that just they put up 42 to 45 to 55 points at will.
Yeah.
Colorado's another game where, again, I still like Colorado a lot. This is just another game they're not ready for.
Yeah. I agree with you. I had USC my predicted playoff before the season because, like you said, that offense, man, is going to be tough to stop. And while the defense, is still an issue, and honestly, man, I think it might be a coaching issue with Alex Grinch because they have some dudes on that defense. It's not like it's a talent thing. They have some really good players. Bear Alexander's playing great. Kalen Bullock is one of the best safeties in the country. They got other really good 5-star players on that defense. It's just they haven't meshed together yet. So that's the issue with USC's defense right now. But I agree with you. I could see USC coming out of that Pac-12, and ultimately, I think this is the year, no matter who comes out of the Pac-12 this year, should deserve a playoff spot, honestly, because of how good that Pac-12 conference is this season. But I got USC as well. Almost exactly the same score as you. I have USC 49, Colorado 24. So I have Colorado scoring 1 fewer touchdown than you do. Listen, it won't be as embarrassing as last week, but Colorado can't match USC's offense. And to be fair to the Buffaloes, there might not be any team in the country that can match USC's offense. So I have USC winning this one pretty handedly.